why nominate Linda McMahon to be the Education Department Secretary if you're going to get rid of the Education Department?
Because I told Linda, I hope you do a great job and put yourself out of a job. I want her to put herself out of a job. Education Department. So we're ranked number 40 out of 40 schools, right? We're ranked number 1 in cost per pupil. So we spend more per pupil than any other country in the world, and we're ranked at the bottom of the list. We're ranked very badly. And what I want to do is let the states run schools. I believe strongly in school choice, but in addition to that, I want the states to run schools, and I want Linda to put herself out of a job.
So after 45 years, finally, Congress is going to propose a bill to get rid of the Department of Education. I'm sure there's nothing to worry about. I mean, as a father who's got 3 kids who have identified disabilities, it won't impact them at all with the fact that the department that oversees IDEA funding will be disregarded. That won't hurt anything. Oh, and I've got a kid going into college. That won't matter because, even though the department oversees financial aid and grants for college kids, that's not going to matter. What do you think? Department of Education? We don't need it? Or is it time to be concerned?
What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. I hope you guys are doing amazing. Thank you so much for clicking on this video and also on this channel. I really do appreciate your love and support. On our today's episode, Trump's administration, according to Politico in the New York Times, is preparing an executive order to completely shatter the Department of Education. This order will be signed in sometime this February of 2025, which will actually shatter the agency completely. I want us to watch these videos together, guys. Every clip and every stitch that you'll be seeing on our today's episode, credits belongs to the original creators of these videos, the people that you're seeing on your screens. If you're coming across this channel for the first time, my good name is Gracey D. Kindly consider subscribing to this channel. Give this video a like. Let's dive right ahead and we'll come back with more commentary.
Take the Department of Education, close it. I'm going to close it. We'll have one person, could be you if you decide to retire.
Okay, Mr. President, here's what bothers me about that. So let's say you have a liberal city, let's Los Angeles, San Diego, and they just decide we're going to get rid of that history. We got new history. This is America built off the backs of slaves on stolen land. And that curriculum comes in.
Then we don't send them money. We would save half of our budget, and we're going to save. But if they want to do that,
because you do lose control when you go low.
We've lost control. We're number 40. We're last on the list. Okay. We're the worst there is, and we spend more money. I told Linda, I hope you do a great job and put yourself out of a job. I want her to put herself out of a job. Education Department. So we're ranked number 40 out of 40 schools, right? We're ranked number 1 in cost per pupil. So we spend more per pupil than any other country in the world. And we're ranked at the bottom of the list. We're ranked very badly. And what I want to do is let the states run schools. I believe strongly in school choice. But in addition to that, I want the states to run schools. And I want Linda to put herself out of a job. If I could give the schools back to Iowa and Idaho and Indiana and all these places that run properly, there's many of them. I think. So if you look at the list, Denmark, Sweden, Norway, believe it or not, China's doing very well on that list, a list of well-educated, where they run their school system well. You have a lot of countries, not surprising names. I think that if you moved our schools into some of these states that are really well-run states, they would be as good as Denmark and Norway and Sweden and some of the other states. And then you'd have the laggards, and you know who they are. I don't have to go to it, but you'd have the laggards, the same laggards that are laggards with everything else, including crime.
It's official. They're coming for the Department of Education, and no, I ain't bullshit. President Donald Trump is pushing to dismantle the U.S. Department of Education through a new executive order, according to sources who spoke to the Washington Post. While Trump wants to eventually close the department, only Congress can fully shut it down. For now, his team is working to cut staff and funding to dismantle it slowly from the inside. So what's happening right at this moment? Well, the administration has placed many employees on leave and urged others to just quit. A group tied to Elon Musk called the Department of Government Efficiency, or the DOGE, doggy, whatever you want to call it for short, has sent 20 staffers into the education department department to find ways to slash costs. The Washington Post reports that some DOGE workers access private student financial aid records. The Department of Education is such an important entity. The agency manages key programs, including school funding. They send billions of dollars to high poverty K through 12 schools, and they support students with disabilities. They also manage student loans and Pell Grants, overseeing trillions of dollars. They also enforce civil rights. They enforce laws against discrimination in schools. Trump's plan is simple. His order would essentially order the department to draft a plan to cut staff and move its duties elsewhere. 2, suggest shifting student loans to the Treasury, and then civil rights enforcement to the Justice Department. That's what he wants to do. But these changes need congressional approval. Laws require certain education department offices to exist, so bypassing Congress could lead to lawsuits, but Trump ain't afraid of no lawsuits, and right now Congress is controlled by the Republicans that do his bidding. These people say dismantling the Department of Education will save government money, but this accounts for 4% of all federal funding in 2024. It's not even in the top 5 in funded federal agencies. So is this really about efficiency, or is this about screwing over the working class again and again and again?
Take the Department of Education, close it. I'm going to close it. We'll have one person.
He's the one coming after those black jobs. The Department of Education has 4,500 employees. 47? Hang on a minute. I found this on Zippia.com. According to them, the staff at the U.S. Department of Education comes from an unusually diverse demographic backgrounds. The organization is 52.5% female and almost 46% ethnic minorities. Now, let's scroll on down here. In addition to that, 87% of the people that work at the Department of Education are of the Democratic Party. The Department of Education was established in 1980, and I think we need more justification than what Donald Trump has provided for whether or not we're going to delete the Department of Education. Donald Trump cites the fact that they teach the facts about the country, that America was founded and built with slavery. Whether it was black slavery or white slavery or brown slavery, this country, slavery is a big part, a big, huge part, and colonization is a big, huge part. If we don't tell the honest truth about the history, we will repeat it. And I think that most Republicans will tell you that slavery was a bad idea. So why would they want us destined to repeat it? Vote blue. Donald Trump is the one who wants to come after brown and black jobs. 4,500 of them right there in that just 2 seconds. He said that, 4,500 jobs. That's 4,500 people and all of their families out of a job. We're just going to cause more chaos, because the more chaos we can cause, the less people are going to look at what he's doing to screw them in their everyday lives. I'm not even kidding. Wake up. Vote blue.
I mean, this is crazy. Actually, as this woman is saying about all these people that actually work at this department, it's just this month that people have been laid off their work because of, you know, they were DEI hires, and he actually did away with DEI. And we've seen so many other companies actually rolling back on DEI initiatives because this administration said so. And, you know, it's crazy that most people actually didn't understand, you know, why, you know, they have DEI, because they thought DEI meant, you know, employment for black people and minorities in the United States of America. And now he's, you know, planning to do away with the Department of Education. And this means that there will be so many people that will actually be unemployed in the United States of America. And we cannot say these are people that actually just voted Republican. Even the Democrats are going to be affected by this. And it's quite sad because, you know, people are being affected for decisions that people made just because they hate a certain group of people, or just because they don't, you know, believe in certain beliefs, or like, you know, abortion and so many other things, that they actually wanted to be in charge of everything. And I was thinking about these, and now I was saying, if they do away with this Department of Education, it's because of this department maybe some people are able to go to college, some people are able to go to high school, and this means then there'll be more of private schools, because so much of these aid that actually come from, you know, the funding that come from the Department of Education, I want to believe that most of it goes to public schools, you know. And also I was looking at the benefits of the people that actually benefit from, you know, the Department of Education, and people with disabilities. Then what's gonna happen? And actually remembered of a video I did of this Republican actually regretting as to why they voted as how they voted, saying that they actually have a child with autism, their grandchild with autism, and these are kind of the people that actually get these some of these benefits from, you know, this funding from the Department of Education. And now you guys, most of these people actually voted against their own self-interest. And it's not like he didn't say that he was gonna, you know, do away with the Department of Education during his campaign. As you've seen on the first clip, he actually mentioned it, and actually even explained if some states, when he does away with the Department of Education, some states, if they don't follow what he says, or his administration, or what his administration says, if some states are going on to continue on teaching or educating people, or the children or the students, of the history of America, they not get any funding. And it's quite sad. And you know, the audacity of him coming and saying these on a television that everyone, like on a live television, on a public television that everyone will watch, and they still went on ahead and voted for him, is crazier. Let's continue with the video and we'll come back with more commentary.
Trump's about to abolish the Department of Education, and that's gotta be bad, right? Like, don't they handle loans and grants and sending money to low-income schools because the neighborhood property tax isn't great? I'm not exactly sure, but like, if this happens, won't schools have to become private schools because they're not getting any money? Doesn't that immediately close a bunch of schools in areas that don't have money? Again, I'm not really sure. Maybe that's why they need to keep it open so I can go back to school and learn, but we shouldn't be getting rid of it. Right?
Do you remember when Donald Trump stated in 2012 that Barack Obama was constantly issuing executive orders that are major power grabs of authority? Well, it looks like he's trying to potentially get rid of the Department of Education via executive order. And it's looking like it's becoming more and more of a reality, as Donald Trump was asked by the press today about this particular issue, in which he stated that he wants states to run schools and he wants to put Linda McMahon out of a job. For anyone unaware, Linda McMahon was nominated as the Secretary for the Department of Education. Well, let's take a look at which states receive the most funding for the Department of Education, and to no surprise, you can see up here that mostly red states are the ones that receive this funding from the Department of Education. They're already heavily reliant on the federal government as it is, and keep in mind that Donald Trump has already stated that he wants to make FEMA something handled only by the states as well. Most of these red states are not going to be able to handle this kind of funding that's going to be needed. You're going to see red states severely go into debt, and you're going to see education rates absolutely decline in these red states, while the blue states are going to see a little bit better education outcomes because they're able to handle it because they don't rely so much on the federal government.
Listen, I am thrilled that Donald Trump is dismantling the Department of Education, because I taught school at the same school in Georgia for 30 years, and I saw things come and I saw things go. A lot of different trends, but I just think, especially with Common Core education, that education was really dumbed down a lot. And the way we had to teach, especially math concepts, was ridiculous. It's like they tried to make it hard on purpose. It's like the parents, half of the parents needed classes just to teach their fourth grader how to do the math back then. And I've been out of it for 3 or 4 years, and I'm sure I don't know that it's gotten any better, but I'm glad that the states will be in charge of what's going on, and the principals and the Board of Education and the teachers and the parents can help decide what they need their children to learn. Because when you have teenagers that don't know how many months are in the year, or it takes 3 minutes to figure out how many dimes are in a dollar, we have a problem. We seriously have a problem. And I mean, common sense is gone out the window. I know things are different, and they're all iPad kids and all that, and their attention spans are like that of a gnat. But anyway, all that being said, I still think it's a good idea to get rid of the Department of Education and let the states back in control. And also along that line, I believe in the discipline. As a fourth grade teacher, I mean, we had no way of, we spent 50% of our time or more getting on to children and not teaching. And that's the whole point of public education, is to go and be able to learn. So hopefully, with that being back, in the state's hands, maybe that can get better too. And it's the people that either their child would never have to be disciplined in a million years, they wouldn't want their child disciplined. I get that. But it's the kids that are terrible, the little troublemakers, their parents don't want them disciplined. I have a grandson that's 3. I'm like, if he needs it, get him, because he'll get it at home too. So hopefully we can get things straightened out in this country. Have a great day.
Yeah, so guys, actually when I saw this video, there are so many clips that I saw of people saying it's good that he's doing away with this. I'm very thrilled that, now they have their own reasons as to why they're doing this. But instead of, spending so much of my time on those clips or those people that are actually saying it was good, I actually looked on the negative impact that this would actually have in the country, and also on students and people that benefit from this. Apart from people losing jobs, the 4,500 that work in this department will be losing their jobs. And so I went on and Googled and did a bit of research. That I say Trump is planning to pass an executive order to ban the Department of Education. And I asked for what will be the negative impact of this, and also what benefits have the Department of Education have had over the years. So the U.S. Department of Education has played a pivot role in shaping the nation's educational landscape since establishment in the 1979. Proposals to abolish the department, such as those recently suggested by the President of the United States of America, have sparked a significant debate. And here we have the potential negative impact of dismantling DOE. So the negative impact of abolishing the Department of Education, there is gonna be loss of federal funding for vulnerable populations. The Department of Education administers essential programs like Title I, which provides financial assistance to schools with high numbers of low-income students. Eliminating the department could jeopardize funding for these programs, adversely affecting millions of disadvantaged students. Erosion of civil rights protections. The department enforces civil rights laws in education setting, ensuring protection against discrimination based on race, gender, disability, and more. Without Department of Education, the oversight and enforcement of these protections could be weakened, potentially leading to increased instances of discrimination. And it's just the other day that he actually did away with the DEI, and now such cases about discrimination and racism, now he's going to do away with the Department of Education. So there will be no protection of civil rights, even in schools, even when it comes to students, some of them who can actually not fight for themselves. It's quite sad. Disruption of federal student aid. The Department of Education manages federal students' loans and grants, facilitating access to higher education for millions of students. So if they do away with these, and for example, if a state does not have that much, or the taxes that they pay is not that much to be able to afford to, to fund students, so many students will actually lose on opportunities on going to good schools, that is like encompasses in universities and colleges, because they cannot afford and they don't have the funds. And we all know how expensive education is in the United States of America. So they'll be abolishing the department could create uncertainty around the administration of these financial aid programs, making college less accessible for many, which is quite sad. Inconsistency in education standard. The department helps establish and maintain education standards across states, promoting consistency in the quality of education. Without federal oversight, disparities between state education systems could widen, leading to unequal educational opportunities for students nationwide. So yeah, just looking at these, and I said, let me go through this, and thinking that, I saw people saying it's good that he's doing away with this, and I got myself thinking, how can people be saying it's okay that he'll be getting rid of, Department of Education? And I know there are people that actually benefit from this. So that means that education will only be more accessible to the richer. And then people who don't have enough funds to take their kids to colleges, they will not be able to do that because they cannot afford it if they do away with this department, and then they will cut on the funds that actually help students, access good colleges. And it's quite sad, So yeah, there will be no promotion of equal access to education. Support of students with disabilities will not be there anymore. Advancement of education researchers and innovation. Maintenance of education data and statistics. And this is quite sad, guys. I don't know what you all think about this. I just saw this and I was like, let me share this with you. And I would love to know what your thoughts are on the comment section. Do you think this is actually a good move for those people? And if you think it's a good move for him to get rid of the Department of Education, tell us on the comment section as to why you think, give us facts as to why you think this is good, and as to why you actually think that it did not benefit people on the comment section. And you actually, if you're on the same side with me, I think it's not good to get rid of Department of Education, because there are so many people that have gotten help from this. There are so many people that have been able to finish their college and also, get better jobs because of this same department. Let me know what your thoughts are on the comment section. Thank you so much for watching up to this part, and until the next episode, bye.